What's this? Xiao looked at Hua Qianqian, who was walking towards him with a somewhat puzzled expression. He clearly knew the ins and outs of the situation, but for now, he had no choice but to feign ignorance. This is the exit of the Ashfire realm, Hua Qianqian replied, her beautiful eyes fluttering as she spoke in a voice as light as a breeze. It is also the final test of the second stage. Since that's the case, let's move. As soon as the words left his mouth, both Xiao and Hua Qianqian stood up simultaneously. They transformed into two dazzling streaks of light and shot towards the exit, flying into the fiery mouth of the volcano. Whoosh! As they entered the strange, eerie light at the volcano's mouth, a soul-shaking, scorching heat slammed into them, causing their expressions to twist in agony. Your condition? The terrifying force grew increasingly intense. Hua Qianqian subtly asked Xiao about his condition. With the protection of such power, she naturally didn't need to worry about any other abnormalities affecting him. I'm not sure of the exact details, but something strange seems to be happening in the immortal realm. The eerie light of the volcano seemed to slow down the probing abilities of those like Ming Feng. Xiao slowly spoke, but due to the curse of darkness, he couldn't reveal too much. This light before us. Xiao quickly changed the subject. It was always wise to avoid saying too much. The second stage of the Alchemy Conference is essentially a competition between us. We need to extract the soul divine source from the mystic chicken of the spirit eye, and then find the exit to leave this place. Hua Qianqian nodded in agreement, but when she mentioned leaving, a rare feeling of unease flickered in her heart. Boom! Molten lava shot into the air, and dark red flames and lava surged from below, from the volcano's world, creating a tremendous uproar. Seems like there's something down there. Woo-woo! Before Xiao finished speaking, a horrifying, growling sound emerged from within the lava-filled world below. A monstrous roar echoed as something massive rushed toward them. The spirit of ashes? Xiao, get out of the way. Hua Qianqian turned around and saw a massive energy beast, like a towering mountain, charging toward them. Its limbs pressed down on the lava while on its back. It carried a massive, dark red molten mountain. A turtle? After dodging the terrifying attack, Xiao and Hua Qianqian immediately surrounded it. Ryup. The spirit of ashes had a complex fiery pattern on its forehead. As it wriggled, the entire fiery world began to tremble uncontrollably. This beast, what does it want? Xiao squinted, and layers of fiery, glass-like halos emerged around him, resembling the blazing sun as they emitted endless sacred light. This guy is likely the final test, Hua Qianqian said after a long pause. He's also the guardian of the exit. After a while, several alchemists who were participating in the trial rushed into the area. They looked at the turtle-like fiery creature below and muttered, boom. Molten lava erupted as more alchemists arrived. The once still flame creature began to stir, slowly shifting its massive body, disturbing the molten lava beneath it as if it were constructing something. The molten world below. Is the energy starting to change? As the group stood around, helpless and exchanging confused looks, the lava world below began to twist like a whirlpool. Boom! The fiery creature's body expanded, and in a flash, it turned into countless ashes, scattering throughout the fiery world. The sight of the fiery ashes caused a violent, unsettling feeling in the hearts of many powerful individuals present. Xiao, we should leave now. There are 3 exits in the Ashfire realm, and this one is likely a fake. Looking at the increasingly fragmented fiery world, Hua Qianqian shook her head. Wait, what's that? Just as disappointment flashed across everyone's face, Xiao gaze pierced through the obstacles and into the depths of the lava world below. The massive body of the spirit of ashes had formed into a fire gate, dozens of meters tall, quietly emerging from the bottom of the fiery world. That's the Ashfire gate? Once we step through this Ashfire gate, we can leave this cursed Ashfire realm. Charge! Everyone had been about to leave, but at Xiao urging, a violent surge of energy roared as they all rushed toward the fire gate. Let's go. The next steps may require your cooperation, Xiao said calmly. If it's related to the immortal realm, I'll naturally help without hesitation. But I feel like I've seen your face somewhere before, though I can't quite recall where right now. Hua Qianqian nodded heavily. She seemed to sense an evil presence, but after a pause, she shook her head. Xiao Yin only took the latter's words as a joke. After all, how could the grand immortal realm possibly have his image and likeness? It seems like there's a portrait of this guy in senior sister's room. Is it a coincidence? When Xiao Yin was the first to step into the Ashfire gate, Hua Qianqian suddenly shook her head and stood up, shooting toward the Ashfire gate. The Ashfire gate stood still in the void of the flame world like an ancient, eternal gate. Every time someone tried to cross it, they would be pulled away by a streak of chaotic power, clearly entering a special space. Crack. As Xiao Yan's body made contact with the Ashfire gate, his body stiffened instantly, feeling as though the world was spinning. Then, his figure vanished in a flash. Although he had been pulled into some strange place by chaotic power, with Xiao Yin and the spirit of the divine artifact's combined strength, it only took a few minutes to break free and successfully leave the Ashfire realm, returning to the altar outside. Whoosh, whoosh. On the mountain altar, elders were seated, maintaining the order of the competition. Countless powerful figures from various factions were gathered, all witnessing the outcome of this competition. However, with the arrival of Xiao Yin and the others, many of the onlookers began to stir restlessly. Elder Yao, now that everyone is here, I suppose it's time to announce the results of the second round? With Xiao Yin and the others' appearance, Bai Wangyuan from the small team led by Ming Feng lazily stretched and spoke. However, after the second round, nearly 100 alchemists participated, yet only a few had successfully passed the challenge. Most of the others had either perished or were severely injured. Elder, this? Some elders seated near Yao Wuchen, who had a high standing, slightly furrowed their brows and hesitated. Ming Feng's power was mysterious, and every move in this second round had been under the watchful eyes of everyone, which left a bit of. I announce that the winner of the second round of the Alchemy Conference is Ming Feng from the human realm. 10 days from now, the remaining 10 Saint Class 8-star alchemists will compete in the headquarters of our Alchemy Holy Hall. At the same time, to ensure their safety, no friends or family are allowed to visit during the rest period. They will be protected by us personally. Yao Wuchen, clearly an old fox, remained calm and steady as he looked at Ming Feng's face filled with sarcasm, and spoke in a composed tone. As soon as his words fell, the entire altar erupted with waves of scorching cheers and excitement. Whether it was the victor of the first or second round in the Alchemy Conference, countless powerful factions would extend invitations, paving the way to the ranks of the strong. After the second round ended, Xiao Yin had not even had time to greet Xun'er before being taken away by powerful figures from the Alchemy Holy Hall. He was placed in a secluded courtyard at the Alchemy Holy Hall's headquarters, with no news of Xun'er's strange behavior. I don't know why, but since arriving in the immortal realm, my memories of Yun have become clearer. Sitting in a pavilion in the courtyard, Xiao Yin gazed at the faint moonlight and couldn't help but reminisce. The events in the magical beast mountain range of the continent of Dochi were still vivid in his mind, and when he thought about everything he had experienced back then, there was a mixture of relief and regret. Little fairy doctor is in the demon realm, and her matters are already settled. I wonder where Yun is now and how she's doing. And what about Senior Zhukuan and Xian? He rubbed his head, a complicated emotion washing over him. Meanwhile, not far away, in the depths of the Floral God Palace, Xun'er, is it that you still refuse to listen to me? Inside a rather serene wooden house, two graceful figures stood together. One appeared to be a middle-aged woman, draped in a golden embroidered robe, her face noble and proud, a presence that inspired reverence. She spoke to the young woman in front of her in a tone full of helplessness. The young woman, wearing white clothes and a white skirt, had long, jet-black hair flowing freely down to her waist, accentuating her slender and graceful figure. Her face was extraordinarily beautiful, her every movement and gesture like that of a flower fairy untouched by the mundane world, captivating beyond words. Teacher, Xun'er has already made up her mind. Please don't interfere any further. Your inheritance, Qianqin should be more suitable than I am. The young woman gently shook her head in rejection. However, hanging in the center of the wooden house was a small portrait, showing a slender and handsome man carrying a heavy ruler, a striking figure. You child, you're always so indifferent. It seems that not much can ever make you panic like this. The middle-aged woman shook her head, as if she had known this all along. These two, of course, were deep within the Floral God Palace in the Immortal Realm. The Palace Master of the Floral God Palace, Xun'er, and the Yun that Xiao had searched so hard for. This guy, why does he look somewhat like the Lord of the Infinite Flame Territory? The Palace Master, Xun'er, focused intently on the portrait behind Yun. Yun's face, usually so composed, flushed a deep crimson upon hearing those words. She quickly scolded, "The power of the dark demon is too evil to heal. Unless the archangel from the angel kingdom intervenes, it's beyond cure." Xun'er could only shake her head. She knew her injuries all too well. "Nonsense. Master, you'll definitely recover." Her words lingered in the air, and the place soon returned to calm. Creak. On the other side, Xiao sat alone in the pavilion. The moonlight was bright, but a faint sound of wind breaking through the air reached his ears. "Who's there? Come out." Xiao heart skipped a beat. His face changed as he shouted sharply. The ability to evade his soul barrier's detection and silently infiltrate his courtyard left Xiao drenched in cold sweat. Without hesitation, he pushed aside the lingering thoughts in his mind, jumped into the courtyard, and flew high into the air, attempting to locate the intruder. In the pavilion, a figure hidden in the darkness slowly emerged. After Xiao landed, the figure stepped forward and removed their black robe, revealing an old, slightly dark face. Elder Yao Wuchen? Xiao eyes widened in slight surprise as he recognized the face. Not only is Lord Zhao's alchemy skill terrifying, but his strength and perception are also unparalleled, Yao Wuchen said with a half-smile, observing Xiao closely. "Elder, I presume you have come for something specific today?" Xiao gaze sharpened, piecing things together in his mind. "Indeed. Rest assured, the barrier here is tightly sealed. Unless a fourth-tier reincarnation stage expert investigates, no one will detect anything." Yao Wuchen spoke knowingly, immediately addressing Xiao concerns. "Then, please tell me, what brings you here tonight?" Xiao smiled in response to Yao Wuchen's words. "That nether wind. It's likely not a normal human." Yao Wuchen's eyes narrowed as he fixed his gaze on Xiao, attempting to read his secrets. Yet, he found, to his surprise, that his current strength and soul power could not see through Xiao true nature. "If I'm not mistaken, those people are from that place. But I have no idea how they managed to bypass the rigorous checks of the Alchemy Holy Hall or even participate in the Alchemy Conference." Xiao voice turned serious, his concern clear. "As for how they avoided our scrutiny, they must have found a way to obscure their presence. Without concrete evidence, we can't take any action. And with their bold approach, their intentions are hardly simple." Yao Wuchen shook his head. "I hope you can win the Alchemy Conference this time." After a brief pause, Yao Wuchen spoke seriously, his voice carrying a strange, mind-bending energy that made Xiao thoughts waver. "Elder, though I wish to win, the third round will not be so simple. Let's not even mention the alchemy skills of those three from the Netherwind, but there's also the Briar Demon Child from the Demon Realm and Hua Qianqian from the Floral God Palace. They are no slouches." Xiao spread his hands, an air of reluctance in his gesture. "Perhaps. But to reach the spirit-wandering realm soul power at your age, it's something few have achieved in history," Yao Wuchen pointed out directly. "This old fox," Xiao couldn't help but curse under his breath. "If I manage to win, I'll certainly give it my all. But I'm still worried," Xiao muttered, his tone showing hesitation. "If you win, all the rewards will be yours," Yao Wuchen said with a grin. "Reaching the spirit-wandering realm, advancing to the 9th grade sacred class alchemist. Your future will be limitless." Yao Wuchen's tone shifted, trying to sway Xiao. "Elder, aren't those rewards supposed to go to the champion? But if you fail, the title of the Immortal Realm's top alchemist will be taken by those others." That would be a disgrace to us alchemists. And what does that have to do with me? You. Yao Wuchen snapped back, his tone sharp. This is pure sacred origin energy. Combined with the 2 orbs of sacred origin energy in your hand, you could refine an 8th-grade heavenly pill at its peak. With a flick of his wrist, Yao Wuchen released a stream of sparkling energy that emitted a refreshing, pure force. If things really get out of hand, perhaps you could try refining a 9th-grade sacred pill. Hopefully, the alchemy conference will pass without incident this time. With that, Yao Wuchen melted into the darkness, disappearing without a trace. Xiao quietly smiled and then, with a wave of his palm, an enigmatic and complex liquid surged forth. As soon as this substance appeared, Xiaoyan's 7th-tier spirit palace radiated an unprecedented, frenzied energy, like a desolate river encountering an endless flood of celestial waters crashing toward it. However, in order to keep his plans and intentions hidden, Xiao did not rashly consume it. 10 days passed quietly. The next day, as the morning sun rose, the entire pill realm of the Alchemy Holy Hall was already packed with people. The pill realm was a special domain created by the powerful figures of the Alchemy Holy Hall, intended for accommodating distinguished guests and providing a dedicated space for alchemy. As the sky lightened, countless powerful figures from the Alchemy Holy Hall began to move, isolating the surrounding area of the Pill Realm's plaza and marking off a vast and solemn competition venue. Within the city of the Pill Realm, numerous experts surged in, creating a scene of extreme bustle and congestion. What an enormous spectacle! The Alchemy Holy Hall, ranked 2nd in the Great Thousand Worlds, has such scale. I can only imagine how terrifying the top-ranking alchemy force in the human realm must be. It's probably countless times more formidable. Xiao quietly walked through the city, sheltered by the powerful figures of the Alchemy Holy Hall, heading toward the city plaza. Though called a plaza, it was actually an ancient basin entirely paved with special stones. The basin was surrounded by hundreds of soldiers maintaining order, and at this moment, several familiar figures had already gathered, waiting. Among them were Hua Qianqian from the Floral God Palace, the Briar Demon Child from the Demon Realm, and 3 other mysterious figures, including the Netherwind, making a total of 10 people. As Xiao stepped onto the plaza and walked toward the other 9 alchemists, several figures outside the plaza burst out in intense anger. During the second round, they had seen through the space-time crystals that Xiao had clearly obtained the Soul Divine Source. Though the final victory went to Netherwind, no one dared to underestimate Xiao, who had, almost unknowingly, attracted a great deal of hostility. Boom, boom, boom. When the 10 of them had gathered, an ancient bell sound rang throughout the entire city. Today is the highlight of this alchemy conference, the alchemy competition. The first and second rounds were merely appetizers. The third round will determine the champion, and the path to becoming a 9th-grade sacred class alchemist awaits those who triumph. Yao Wuchen took the lead, grinning as he looked at the 10 participants in the field. Elder Yao, let's get started as soon as possible, said one of the participants. If you want to win, you need solid evidence. The 3 from the demon realm shook their heads, seemingly confident of victory. Xiao, we can't lose to them, Hua Qianqian muttered, clearly valuing the reputation of the immortal realm and other such things highly. Do your best, Xiao responded nonchalantly. After all, alchemy was somewhat dependent on both touch and luck, and he couldn't make any guarantees. Since everyone is so eager, I shall announce. The final round of the alchemy conference begins now. With a flick of Yao Wuchen's hand, a gentle glow enveloped the 10 participants, and they were immediately teleported to 10 towering peaks suspended in the pill realm. The energy of heaven and earth required for refining sacred grade 7 and 8 pills was exceptionally dense, and by occupying a peak each, the 10 alchemists would naturally achieve double the results with half the effort. I wonder what level of reincarnation pill we'll be able to refine this time. As soon as Xiao arrived at the peak, he immediately sat down cross-legged, adjusting his breathing carefully to recover his best state for alchemy. The reincarnation pill is essential to subduing the 3rd-ranked sacred flame of the sacred flame ranking. Its rank is at sacred grade 8, without a clear tier distinction. As soon as the voice fell, the divine fire spirit fruit with a sacred aura, the earth's bedding, and the ancient bronze demon core were all taken out from the spatial ring. At that moment, thick black mist, like that of a cannibalistic demon, rose from the demon core, surging toward Xiao as if it were trying to invade his body. The eerie presence left everyone in awe. Following the sound, 3 sharp winds rushed from the peaks of 3 mountains. The thorn demon child, Hua Qianqian, and Ming Feng each raised their hands, and before them, an ancient, colossal alchemy cauldron appeared out of nowhere. The 3 alchemy cauldrons were mysterious and awe-inspiring. The moment they appeared, they attracted the attention of countless powerful cultivators. After all, the cauldrons used by 8-star sacred alchemists were not something simple. Flower God Palace really is willing to spend. They actually brought out the Flower Fairy Cauldron. It is said that this cauldron was forged by some of the powerful members of the Flower God Palace, specifically for refining high-level pills. It greatly enhances the alchemy process. The cauldron used by the Thorn Demon Child is also no ordinary vessel. It is wrapped in thorny demonic vines, and a faint, overwhelming power emanates from it. Seeing the 3 powerful alchemists summon their cauldrons, the crowd couldn't help but feel envious. After all, to an alchemist, a cauldron is akin to their hands and feet. Possessing one would be of great benefit. Ming Feng's cauldron doesn't seem quite normal, Xiao murmured as he checked several auxiliary herbs around him. His eyes subtly shifted toward Ming Feng's side. There, he saw a gigantic black cauldron, carved entirely from irregular, eerie tentacles. The tentacles swirled as if they were greedily devouring something. The sight was unnervingly sinister. Let's begin. As if in perfect sync, the 10 high-level alchemists spoke in unison. At that moment, a variety of dazzling herbs began to swirl around them uncontrollably. Some were immediately thrown into their cauldrons, where flames roared and began to burn them, slowly refining and breaking them down. Others shaped the herbs with their palms, transforming their energy with the combined powers of flames and soul force, enveloping entire mountaintops. In this instant, the 10 peaks above the alchemy realm city, each controlled by a gifted 8-star sacred alchemist, were turned into arenas of fierce competition. The air was filled with a thick, fragrant power, while a terrifying, suffocating heat began to spread. The final round of the alchemy assessment had begun. No one knew how many 8-star sacred pills would be produced, or perhaps, would this be the time when a 9-star sacred pill appeared? Fire arise. Cauldron manifest. Watching the other 9 alchemists already at work, Xiao let out a sharp cry. Fiery, glass-like flames slowly poured from his palm, and their searing heat twisted the very air around the mountain, leaving trails of scorching energy spreading toward the other 9 peaks. The spreading flames began to devour and siphon off the rich energy from the other peaks, making the other alchemists' hearts tremble. This guy's power is already formidable, and now he's using the extremely rare sacred flame fire. He's terrifying. Ming Feng and the others exchanged glances, then snorted coldly. They unleashed streams of black flames to resist Xiao sacred flame while continuing to refine their pills. The stronger Xiao grew, the more pleased they felt. After all, everything was under their control. These black flames have a strange aura about them, but they resemble the ominous forces from the demon realm. What's going on here? The Thorn Demon Child narrowed his eyes. As he gazed at the 3 clusters of black flames, his eyelids twitched. The energy within those flames was mysterious, but the sensation was strangely off. In the next moment, a strange green flame flickered above the Thorn Demon Child's hand. As the green flame appeared, a horrifying wail filled the air, like the cries of ghosts and wolves, disorienting anyone nearby. It was eerily unsettling. It's said that in the demon realm, there's an ancient beast called the demon Xiao, whose power is sky-high. It's unruly by nature, and atop its crown burns a strange green flame. Its power reaches the level of the mystical realm. If one could harness it, the strength would rival even the sacred flame, second only to it. This guy's foundation is truly remarkable. Haha, look at that little girl from the Flower God Palace. Her flame is also quite extraordinary. It's said that it was created by the first-generation master of the Flower God Palace, the 10,000 Flower Flame. Though not on par with the sacred flame, its power is likely comparable. The elders of the Alchemy Holy Hall gazed at the strange flames blossoming in the sky, each one more dazzling and bewildering than the last. After all, when it comes to refining pills, from the flames to the medicinal cauldrons, it's clear that these individuals possess deep foundations and formidable strength. For an alchemist, a powerful flame naturally leads to achieving results with half the effort. However, no matter how mysterious and powerful the flames of the 9 people were, under the sacred flame of Xiao, they were like humble servants, not daring to show any signs of defiance. The sacred flame is known as the King of all Flames, and its title is certainly not without reason. Even if these flames are fierce, in front of the King of Flames in the great thousand worlds, the sacred flame, they can only quietly bow in submission. Flames and medicinal cauldrons are merely auxiliary tools. The real skill lies in their alchemy techniques. Some perceptive people couldn't help but speak up. Boom. After a brief pause, the 10 of them each activated their most powerful soul forces, splitting them into several streams to refine the precious and stubborn medicinal materials. For those who stood in the finals, dividing their soul force into several parts had long become a familiar technique. For a moment, the entire sky above the 10 peaks was filled with the sound of thunder, clearly caused by the 10 participants, drawing upon the quiet, dormant forces of heaven and earth. These 10 people's soul forces have actually reached the essence transformation stage? They are truly extraordinary. No, look at those thunderous sounds in the sky. With such a scene, are they refining sacred grade 8-tier heavenly pills? In the city below, as people looked up at the sky, the terrifying oppressive force filled their minds, leaving them dazed. At this moment, Xiao, however, held back and did not use his soul power from the spirit-wandering realm. All sacred grade 8-tier, huh? Although he had expected this, seeing the familiar alchemy techniques and the bizarre medicinal materials from the 9 others around him, Xiao smiled faintly. It seemed that with just a sacred grade 8-tier heavenly reincarnation pill at its peak, winning the championship in this competition would indeed be a bit of a challenge. Yet, at the same time, Xiao couldn't help but feel more eager. If I'm not mistaken, the pill refined by Ming Feng should be the Netherworld Mystic Pill of the sacred grade 8-tier heavenly level. Below, Yao Wuchen's eyes narrowed as he observed Ming Feng's enormous soul power and the familiar medicinal materials surrounding him. He suddenly spoke out. As a towering figure in the alchemy world, Yao Wuchen could recognize most pill formulas. Netherworld Mystic Pill? What's that? Some of the confused experts in the crowd asked. Clearly, sacred grade 8-tier pills were too far out of their reach. This pill is said to grant the user mysterious powers that can manipulate the world within a short time. It's been passed down since ancient times, though I'm not too sure of the specific effects. I remember the formula was lost after the First Heavenly War. Why is it here now? Also, this pill seems to be the prototype of some kind of 9-tier pill. Yao Wuchen muttered to himself, seemingly trying to see through Ming Feng's secrets with his immense strength. But, unfortunately, it seemed that Ming Feng had some strange power cloaking him, preventing even this alchemy expert from seeing within. The pill Ming Feng is refining is definitely not simple. However, the 2 people beside him are only refining 8-tier Earth-grade pills. Could there be a conspiracy? Xiao kept a close eye on Ming Feng and the other 2. After all, these 3 might have even more terrifying forces backing them. However, among the 10, apart from Ming Feng and his 2 companions, Hua Qianqian and the Briar Demon Child were the most terrifying in terms of alchemy skills. At this moment, Xiao, Hua Qianqian, Briar Demon Child, and Ming Feng were all refining sacred grade 8-tier heavenly pills. The terrifying pressure of their aura was so oppressive that, if not careful, it could easily lead to pill destruction and death. These guys are the true elites in their respective regions. This time, let's see who will come out on top. Yao Wuchen laughed heartily, and his laughter transformed into a tangible energy barrier, isolating the 10 peaks and the city below. The dense energy barrier made the many onlookers involuntarily gasp. Such a feat could only be achieved by someone at the 5th-tier reincarnation stage, and what was more astounding was that this man was a bona fide sacred grade 9-tier alchemist. The combination of 5th-tier reincarnation stage and sacred grade 9-tier alchemist was shocking on its own, but together, they created an overwhelming sense of awe that silenced everyone present. This was the true demeanor of a great master in the alchemy world. Time passed slowly. In just half a month, 4 of the 10 participants had already been eliminated. Although the pills they refined were also of the 8th grade tier, they were somewhat inferior compared to the 8th grade heavenly pills created by Xiao and his group. After some struggles, they reluctantly chose to give up. Wum. Even with the infusion of energy from a towering mountain peak into the embryonic pill, the power still cannot be fully integrated. The energy required for an 8th grade heavenly pill at its peak is simply too immense. If one were to attempt fusion rashly without sufficient energy, failure would be inevitable. Xiao gaze swept across the room. He furrowed his brow, focusing on the 4 dazzling, brilliant orbs of liquid inside the medicine cauldron formed by the glazed fire, as well as an embryonic pill the size of a dragon's eye. The 4 orbs of liquid were the 3 core ingredients for the reincarnation pill, along with a neutralizing agent. As for the embryonic pill, it was formed by Xiao fusion of the sacred origin energy he possessed. At this moment, the glazed fire cauldron blazed with raging flames. However, no matter how fierce and terrifying the sacred flame burned, it could not scorch or destroy these 4 precious essences. Whoosh! Just as Xiao was lost in thought, the black flame beside Ming Feng suddenly became agitated. At the same time, it transformed into dark chains and roared toward the 4 energy peaks that were already unoccupied. Glazed fire sea. Xiao eyes shifted slightly. The glazed fire, like a meteor, shot toward the sinister black flames. Wherever it passed, the area was enveloped in the glazed fire's radiant and sacred aura. Xiao. Seeing Xiao relentless pursuit, Ming Feng's face was marked with a chilling murderous intent as he glared at Xiao. Hehe, since the owners of these 4 peaks have withdrawn, they are now unclaimed. The rule of to the victor goes the spoils, I trust no one will object? Xiao snorted coldly, and the overwhelming glazed sacred flame around him actually claimed 2 of the peaks for himself. You little beast! Black flame of the heavens! Hearing Xiao arrogant words, Ming Feng's expression instantly stiffened. He flipped his hand, and black flames, covered in countless eerie runes, surged like an icy chain, shooting directly at Xiao vital points. Immortal golden body. Boom boom boom. Xiao sneered in disdain. With a wave of his sleeve, a golden giant stood tall, effortlessly deflecting the incoming attack. The immortal golden body, empowered by the sacred flame's essence, had defensive power that was nearly unparalleled even within the reincarnation stage, providing a remarkable boost to his defenses. Damn! With no result from his attack, Ming Feng had no choice but to temporarily abandon his assault on Xiao. After all, refining such high-tier pills was incredibly energy-consuming, and wasting too much power on Xiao was not a wise choice. Of course, the intense hostility Ming Feng displayed toward Xiao was simply a strategy to create a huge disparity, intending to show a significant gap during the later championship. After the failed skirmish, Ming Feng, along with the 2 people behind him, shifted their attention to the remaining 2 energy peaks. Hehe. As Ming Feng's black flames reached the last 2 peaks, 2 rebellious and terrifying flames suddenly appeared, driving the black flames away and even consuming them completely. You all. Seeing that he had missed the opportunity to claim the remaining 2 peaks due to his conflict with Xiao, Ming Feng's face turned a dark, grim color. His enraged expression seemed as though he would devour Xiao and his companions alive. Let's refine the pill first. Even if they've claimed the energy peaks, it doesn't mean they're any stronger than us. Behind him, the White King Abyss spoke quietly, trying to dissuade Ming Feng. You'll regret this later. Refine the pill. Ming Feng took a deep breath, and the eerie black flames exploded with terrifying energy, slowly compressing and fusing several types of energy essences in the black cauldron. Are they about to refine the pill? But why do the people behind Mingfeng seem to have no sign of fusion in their pill cauldrons? What are they actually doing? Xiao was surprised. After a moment, he raised his head and looked toward the sky. There, in the boundless starry expanse, waves of disturbing fluctuations in time and space began to approach silently. It was the power of thunder, the pill tribulation. It was also the jealousy of the great thousand worlds, bringing down punishment for an 8th grade heavenly pill. Refining a pill that could stir the heavens and earth to jealousy was bound to cause a storm of commotion. According to legends, when a 10th grade divine pill appears, the pill tribulation it faces is unbeatable. Even so, any news about a 10th grade divine pill would surely stir up a bloodbath throughout the entire great thousand worlds. Wum. The embryonic pill lay in the center of his palm, surrounded by 4 masses of liquid. Under Xiao immense soul control, the liquid began to swirl and gradually merged into the pill. Time to merge the pill. Will these 4 be able to bring us some miracles? Looking at the 4 violent energy surges that shot up into the sky, some sharp-eyed onlookers spoke in unison, their eyes narrowing as if they didn't want to miss a single moment. For high-level alchemists, the most difficult part of pill refining is no longer the refinement and tempering of the materials, but the pill fusion and pill formation. The energy required for pill fusion is enormous, especially for high-grade pills of the 8th tier. The vast energy contained within the materials alone is far from enough. At this point, it's necessary to gather the energy of the heavens and the earth to assist in the refining process. Without enough energy, the pill fusion will fail. This is also why the Alchemy Holy Hall provides each person with a peak of energy. After pill fusion comes pill formation, and it's the thunder tribulation originating from the pressure of the heavens and earth after pill formation that is the most important and the most deadly. Under the thunder tribulation, all things are annihilated. Throughout history, very few have managed to safely withstand the thunder tribulation, and if they fail, the backlash could severely damage the very foundation of these 8th grade alchemists. This is also one of the reasons why high-level alchemists are almost extinct in the great thousand worlds, and high-grade pills are more precious than gold. High-grade pills are the result of alchemists sacrificing their lives to battle the power of heaven and earth. If the pill is successfully refined and the thunder tribulation is survived, 8th grade pills are enough to create a huge gap between the alchemist and others of the same age. But if they fail, the backlash could prevent an 8th grade alchemist from ever reaching that level again. A single thought can bring one to heaven or to hell. It's not without reason. Of course, such a cost is worth it. Boom. As the 4 began to fuse the pills, the heavens above rumbled. Endless pressure, like a force crossing time and space, slammed down on the 4 of them without reservation. You think we will give up because of this? You're greatly underestimating me. Ha ha ha. Xiao laughed aloud as he felt the soul-deep pressure. All his soul power and sacred flame roared in unison. The pills spinning and merging in his palm began to accelerate at a visible speed. In an instant, terrifying power surged through the void, like the wrath of a god, uncontrollable and spreading through the air. The overwhelming power caused all the onlookers to instantly lose the will to resist. Their steps faltered, and they kneeled before the pressure, as if divine wrath had descended, making mere mortals seem like ants, unable to do anything but humbly submit. Whoosh! Powerful waves of energy, without restraint, surged down from the heavens, bringing with them an irresistible breath of thunder. As time passed, the fusion of the materials and embryonic pills in the hands of the 4 became more evident. The energy fluctuations from the heavens and earth above the entire city grew stronger, vaguely hinting at pill formation. Boom! Endless dark clouds suddenly appeared at the top of the sky. As soon as they emerged, they blocked all the light, and within the clouds, countless bolts of lightning slithered like silver snakes. Occasionally, a flash of lightning fell, instantly collapsing buildings below, turning them to dust. Moments later, layers of brilliant and dazzling colors slowly emerged from within the black thunderclouds, filled with terrifying and shocking power. An 8th grade heavenly pill at the sacred grade. What kind of terrifying thunder tribulation will it bring? The crowd below looked up, their eyes narrowing. They could sense the terrifying violent energy fluctuations emanating from the thunder clouds, and their anticipation grew stronger with every passing second. The stronger the tribulation, the higher the grade of the pill being refined, and they were eager to see if the 4 could successfully form their pills. First color, second color, until the 7th color filled the thunderclouds completely. The entire sky grew slightly calmer. 7 colors? These 4 are actually refining sacred grade 8 tier heavenly pills simultaneously? These are 7 mystical demon lightnings, something even triple reincarnation stage experts fear. Countless gazes filled with shock were fixed on the thunderclouds above, which now displayed 7 vibrant colors. A shiver ran down their spines, and even some of the more powerful veterans didn't dare to challenge such a force. 4 8th grade heavenly pills, huh? Every time the alchemy conference is held, there are always a few talented alchemists with lofty ambitions attempting to refine 8th grade peak pills. However, it seems that never before have there been as many as 4 such individuals this time. Vroom vroom. As the 7-colored 7 mystical demon lightning began to gather, the pills in the 4 alchemist cauldrons rapidly began to merge under their exquisite control. A fragrance that was both refreshing and invigorating quietly spread across the entire sky and earth. What a rich fragrance of medicinal pills. It looks like these 4 should be able to fuse their pills within a day. Whispers continuously emerged from the crowd. Hee, Elder Xiao, with your discerning eye, who do you think has the greatest chance of success among the 4? A few elders surrounding Yao Wuchen squinted their eyes. With their vision, they naturally couldn't discern who was stronger among the 4. The pills Xiao is refining are quite unique, something I have never heard of before. As for the Netherworld Mystic Pill, being refined by Ming Feng, the variables are too great, and I dare not make a rash judgment. However, the Floral Fairy Jade Pill, being refined by that girl from the Floral God Palace, is also not to be underestimated in both power and effect. As for the Demonic Heart Pill, refined by the Briar Demon Child, compared to the other 3, it seems somewhat inferior. Yao Wuchen casually glanced around, clearly explaining the pills being refined by the 4. The great experts of the alchemy world indeed do not speak without reason. Boom! As the crowd chatted, the usually calm Briar Demon Child's body suddenly emitted a swirl of crimson demonic vines. A loud bang echoed through the heavens and earth, and a terrifying thunderous fluctuation descended from the sky. The thunderclouds gathered and flashed, while the pill in the Briar Demon Child's hand had completely fused and began to draw down the thunder from the heavens. This Briar Demon Child of the Demon Realm is quite formidable, but it seems he is not destined to win the championship. Yao Wuchen shook his head, clearly seeing through everything at a glance. Boom! A round, dark red pill quietly rested in the Briar Demon Child's palm, and at that moment, thunder surged in the sky, forming an ancient thunder beast over 1,000 feet in size. The beast moved swiftly, charging towards the Briar Demon Child, ready to crush him. Briar Demon Vine. Extinction of 10,000 sources. Seeing the enraged thunder beast formed from 7-colored lightning, the Briar Demon Child's eyes slightly narrowed. Blood surged within him as ominous blood-red rays surrounded the demonic vines. Without hesitation, he shot them straight at the thunder beast. Vroom vroom. The thunder beast, like an enraged lion, was surrounded by 7-colored lightning, looking incredibly powerful. Its eyes gleamed with a rebellious spirit, and it raised its foot, engaging in a fierce battle with the numerous demonic vines. Explode! Countless demonic vines surged toward the thunder beast in waves, but they failed to make any significant impact. In the blink of an eye, they were easily destroyed, leaving behind a sinister, eerie aura on the 7-colored lightning. Roar, roar. The battle lasted only a minute before the thunder beast stood proudly on its hind legs, raising its head arrogantly. A burst of 7-colored lightning gathered around it, forming a lightning arc that shot straight at the Briar Demon Child. Explode! Seeing this, The Briar Demon Child roared furiously, and a huge explosion echoed through the sky. Boom! The eerie aura on the Thunder Beast suddenly exploded, piece by piece. However, the final lightning arc pierced through the Briar Demon Child's shoulder. Crimson blood poured from his mouth, and he appeared severely battered. 8th grade Heavenly Pill, Demonic Heart Pill. After enduring the thunderous tribulation, the Briar Demon Child gritted his teeth through the intense pain and raised the pill in his palm high. A triumphant voice spread across the entire world. Boom! At that very moment, just as the crowd was still focusing on the Briar Demon Child's battered form, another mountain peak in the distance erupted with the imagery of countless blooming flowers. Swallow, an energy illusion? Surpassing the 8th grade heavenly level, this is truly a genuine 8th grade peak pill. Seeing Hua Qianqian's display of skill, some of the powerful figures in the Alchemy Holy Hall exclaimed, "Vroom, vroom! Bloom! Barrier!" A soft, melodious voice emerged, and soon, strange humming sounds filled the air as bird songs and floral fragrances wafted from both mountain peaks. In the blink of an eye, countless buds began to bloom. The flowers bloomed in competition, and after a moment, they gathered around Hua Qianqian's feet, forming a massive flower bud over 1,000 feet tall. The bud was etched with mysterious, profound patterns, exuding an aura of ancient mystique. Thud! Above the sky, thunderclouds churned, and in an instant, they transformed into a 7-colored stream of light, shooting straight at Hua Qianqian. Crack! Crisp sounds of snapping echoed as petals from the giant flower bud began to fall, overwhelmed by the force of the thunder. The thunder and petals vanished together, and at that moment, from the center of the flower bud, a dazzling figure gently held up a green pill, smiling softly. In such a short time, 2 pills had appeared out of nowhere, one an 8th grade heavenly pill of the sacred class, and the other a peak 8th grade heavenly pill of the sacred class.